Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to make you a Friday Eve video, and it's going to be a little bit something outside of the sawing because it is in the 20s outside. It is about a 25-mile-an-hour wind outside, and we're just not feeling it. So, but we're going to do a couple different things in this video. I'm going to be starting a shop project. I will be off most of December for vacation, so I want to do a bar for my son Alex, and I'll show you what this is all about here in a minute. And also I want to put the how we built the sound enclosure on the bus motor in this video. It will not have decibel readings. Eventually we will do that. I want to do a decibel check and see how much difference it did make. We notice the difference probably more than you do on the video. But here's the topic right here, and I'll take you over here first. This is a piece of sycamore that we had sawed, a while back. I'm going to say towards the spring. Real nice slab. This is going to be, we're going to do an epoxy finish on it. And the problem being, it's got a little twistage to it. So we need to flatten this out. I have a 24-inch planer. I also have a 36-inch wide belt sander. That doesn't do you any good. So if you don't make that board flat, that board never will be flat. The planer will just follow what's there. So I am making my version of a basically a router sled to flatten slabs. So being the hunky I am, it's all about how much money can you save. There's a few outfits that sell these rigs ready to put on a bench, linear bearings in them, very expensive. So this is my old, anybody who's been in the cabinet business, these old 1604 Bosch routers probably were the best routers ever built, as far as I'm concerned. So I started out with a piece of OSB, oriented strand board. Now OSB has one side that's really coarse, and that's if you're nailing it down on a roof, that's so you're not sliding. Nothing more than a cleat. I'll bring this over to the camera a little bit more. A little bit of a cleat here, and that rides in the unistrut. The slot itself was made by the router after the thing was made. The two sideboards are for two reasons. This adds rigidity to it so that it don't bow while you're running the router back and forth. It keeps it nice and straight. So this is 1 inch by 1 inch red oak. You could use anything, but the oak gives it a little bit more strength. A stop on the front, stop on the back. This is my little cord carrier, a piece of 1/2 inch dowel, just a little gizmo made out of scrap for the top. So this sits right on the front piece of unistrut, and I made it so this is 3 inches from the bench to the top, or which would be the bottom of this surface, because we're going to have to shim that top until it's where we want it, and then we can lower the bit down or do a combination of things to get the correct thickness. This is a bit that when I bought my CNC machine. This bit right here goes in there and it will flatten your table, and it will run a program. My CNC is too small to do this job. You'd have to try to set it up twice. This would be much simpler. So this is the business end of the deal. This is just a piece of plastic, which was a base that you could buy years ago for these routers. So I made it set inside here. Hope I'm not losing you. So basically, and it slides. I mean, you know, linear bearings I'm sure will slide better, but you're not going to get much better than that. And then if you look at the deflection on it, you really have to push down hard to make this push down. We're not trying to get this thing machined with this. We're getting it flat so that we can run it through our good machines. This here allows it to move. So you're going to be taking the width of the bit, you're going to move it, the width of the bit, so you're going to keep going back and forth. If I was going to use this more often, I would make a dust system of some sort. But for now, we're not going to do that. And I'll show you how this cord follower works. This should work good, so we're not getting tangled up. So just lay your cord over there. It'll plug in on a cord on the back, and it'll just follow this up and down the track. So I'll tell you what, we're going to play around with it a little bit. So I'm going to get that piece of slab put on the bench, and let's just see how this thing's actually going to work. Well, we got it on the bench, and if you can look at the straight edge, you can see you sure wouldn't want to do it that way. So if we do some shimming, we can split the difference. So I'm going to go down the other end here, and we're going to try to get it what we call a happy medium. Not quite like a happy little tree, but we're going to make this tree very happy here in a minute. Okay, so if you're looking at that, that looks a lot better. I got stuff in my way everywhere I look around here. So we'll take some measurements here. Let's see what we're up against here. Oh, like 3/4, and we're about 1.125 inches. So we'll check it in the middle. The middle looks like it's doing almost the opposite here. So we're at 1.125 inches, and we're about 5/8 there. We get down to this side, yeah, we went too far. So we're just going to keep playing back and forth here until we get this thing setting about where we want it. So I'm going to take one shim out of there. And once we get it where we want it, we're going to go ahead and just clamp it in place. We could actually, once we get it to the other side, then I can go ahead and run screws up through the bottom. It won't hurt nothing. So that over there, we got to give a little bit of shim to. Yeah, that's not looking too bad. So I'm going to continue just running some shims back and forth. And this is the bottom side of the bar, so you can make mistakes on the bottom side, but when we get to the money end, we don't want it to really be messing up. So we'll get it secured, and I'll be back with you. All right, let's take this thing for a test drive. I started over here. This is going to get cut off. So we're going to ignore this little bit here. That's going to just go away. So you just want to take, you know, close to a full path and just keep sliding over. So. really isn't working too bad. I'm already starting to touch the front. We're getting that little bit of a cup out of it. So this will take some time, but you can see what we accomplished here in a short amount of time. And when it's done, it will be as flat as M2 rails are. So that is, I just want to give you a demonstration on how the heck this thing was going to work. I didn't know how it was going to work until we basically had set it up. Again, it's just nothing more than a piece of OSB, runs at a track. This slides back and forth in a slot. You got a facing bit for the bottom. And as long as you have a router, you can flatten boards real easy. And then the bigger you can make your sled, you can do wide slabs. I don't need nothing more than 22. So the next time you'll see me, we will be working on them sound panels for the bus motor. But I just wanted to bring you along and show you a new shop project coming up. And I just want to get this ready to go through possibly my planer. Once I get the bottom flat, I don't really need the sled no more. It'll go through my planer and it won't rock. And it will come out dead flat. I don't know how much thickness we're going to lose, but that's just what happens when wood does its own natural thing. And that's just what wood does. And thanks for coming along. And I will catch you next time when we're going to probably be sawing more cherry in the cold. It don't look like we're going to get much warmer for the next 5 days or so. But I wanted to get you some sort of content out there, and hope to see you on the next one. Thanks again, and enjoy the sound panel video. All right, bye-bye. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. And what I got behind me here is some boom mat. Today we're going to be working in the shop, and we want to make that thermal acoustic sound barrier for the bus motor. We were trying to cut down on some noise as far as Eddie's filming. All you can hear is that Detroit just overbearing, you know, with his wireless mic. And then I had some problems with the closed captions, and someone said maybe it was excessive noise. So I designed my own sound panel, and if this works, you could take this idea and use it for a generator or something that you want to quiet down, and it might work out. So this is an experiment, and we're going to be using steel stud. We're going to use 1 5/8" steel stud. It is so light, there'll be no weight issues there. So that'll be the frame of it. In between the studs, we're going to put this styrofoam, and this is 1.5 inches. I'll have to look up what the R value is, but it's resistant to about everything, so this could be used for anything in new construction. The outside of it will be the OSB, so oriented strand board, and the secret weapon here is, gotta say it, boom mat. So I found this through Amazon, and you get a little sticker with every one of them here. And I'll try to leave more description and more information in the video as far as where to find this. It was fairly expensive, but what it's going to do for us is really deaden the sound. It took 2 of these sheets to do this panel. It's a peel and stick, so you peel the backing off, and it is super sticky. I had put this on last night, so it's the next day, and you'd rip the foil off before it would come off the back. So I think it's going to stay on. I was thinking about putting some fender washers with some screws, but I don't think I'm going to have to go that route. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll cut some steel studs up, and I'll show you how I put one of these panels together. And then we're going to go up to the mill. I got to measure up for the top of it. I don't know that number until I put the left and right panels on, but we're going to do some sound tests. And I'm really interested to see how many decibels we can cut away just with this enclosure. And also it's going to help the airflow from the fan to go past the bus motor, because right now the fan is just blowing out into the open air. So this will give it a channel to go past it. Also, it'll keep it out of the heavy duty frost when we get, you know, single digits up there. This will give it a little bit of shelter, and also it will keep it in the summertime. The sun won't be beating on it, and it might help both directions as far as summer and winter. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you how I built this. All right, the first step, I had bought 10-foot long steel studs. These are 1 5/8". I'm not sure what gauge they are, but you use it in commercial construction for framing. That's what we do at the airport when we build rooms. Not 1 5/8", but sometimes we use it for if you're furring out a wall. So it's real easy to work with. How do you like these old shears? These are old ones here. Basically, just cut yourself 2 slits. And I'm going to flip this around, just easier to cut. Yeah, a little different today. We're doing something a little off the beaten path. I don't think anybody has tried this before. And basically just make a back cut on it. And there you have it. So we need 5 of these. So we'll go ahead and get them cut down. I got the track cut down already, so this will receive the stud into it. And then basically it just gets screwed together with self-tapping screws. So we'll be with you here. We'll get ready to start putting this together. Okay, this is ready to go here. Basically, the stud will sit inside the track, and you're going to use a little self-tapper. I'll try to get you one up close here. These are just a little screw. Some people call them panhead screws. Some people call them tech screws. But anyhow, what it does, these can be a little tricky sometimes, but you basically just want to put 1 screw in on each connection point here, making sure it's bottomed out. This track here actually has dimples in it that lays the centers out, which makes it kind of nice. But that come from like a Home Depot type situation. And we're keeping them facing the same direction. So they'll be going the same way because, I don't know if I got you in the shot here or not. We'll try that. When we get to the styrofoam, which will be coming up next, we want this to hold the styrofoam in place. There'll be no glue used on that styrofoam. It's just a forced fit. Worked great, actually. So, I mean, sometimes they can be a little bare to get in, but you'll win if you try hard enough. But anyhow, let's get the last couple studs in. And I'm going to flip this around, and I'm going to show you how we're going to put that styrofoam in. And I'm going to do one thing different that I didn't do on the first one, and I think I can make this job just a little bit easier. So, all right, let's get this finished. Okay, we're going to cut the styrofoam down to size, and really simple to work with. Just a table saw, combination blade. I don't know, you could use a power saw. You could even use probably just a hand saw if you snap some lines on it. So if you don't have the luxury to a table saw, that would be a good alternative. So let's fire up the vacuum system here. And we'll cut it down. right, with the panels cut, we got one more step to do. And I didn't do it on the last one, and I wish I would have. It would have made it a lot easier to put together. We got to cut a little kerf in for the steel stud. So I'm going to go ahead and take the guard off, get everything set up, show you how I did it. We'll be back in a second. Okay. What we're going to do now is we're going to put these little kerfs in it. And you'll see the steel stud has little folds where the edge is. And if you don't cut these in, you got to really fight to get this inside the track. So all I did is took the guard off, took the splitter off, and all we're going to do is we're going to run it, flip it, run it, and I'll show you here with one of these. Just be careful without the guard. Okay, simple as that. I'll finish these other ones, and we're going to go ahead and start putting this frame together. Well, we're ready to start assembling. In this 5 minutes it took me to do that, just so much different. So you just set it in that little slot, and we're just going to feed these in. The bottom sometimes gives you a little, you got to nudge them in. But I left them just a hair short on the length, so because we're going to put the track on top after we get these panels in. Otherwise, there'd have been no way to install them. So, but this would work out for a lot of things. Not a bad idea. And we're going to put the OSB on this side, and the boom mat will stick to that foil. It's hard to believe how good it's stuck. I'm going to have to go over and help it back here. Sometimes that track can give you a little bit of problem. Here's when it's nice to have two people, but we don't have two people. All right, that went in. And the last piece. In the last piece, I'll bring it over here. You had to cut kerfs on both sides because this is the end of the wall. So we need a slot on both sides. So that's what I did. So let me bring that over, and we'll see how good it fits. This is actually a nice product. It's very easy to work with. And I got one more little piece to go in. Oh, Henry. I'm gonna have to trim that, but other than that, it's all set up to go. So a little bit of trim in there, and we'll go ahead and put the track back on the top, and then we're ready for OSB. So hang in there. Okay, we're going to put the top track on now. It should be pretty easy to do. I just got to flip it around because we're going. This is where it gets a little tricky. You got to line a lot of things up as you're going. But the only way to get this styrofoam in there is by doing it this way. Wasn't too hateful. So all we're going to do now is run the screws in it, and then we're going to put this on the floor, and we're going to use the OSB to square it up. So I'll get this fastened, and then once we get the OSB on this side, we're going to flip the whole thing over. We're going to get the screws in the back side, and then the fun part, the boom mat. So I'll get this fastened up, and we'll get the OSB ready. Okay, this is going to be the outer shell of this enclosure, so this is what you will see. We might paint this at some point, But for now, I just want to get it put together so we can give it a test run. So I'm going to go ahead and cross cut this. Okay, that should do it. All right, time to put some cladding on it. And I think if I turn it around, I think the lines will work. The 16-inch centers. How about that? They do paint these lines on there for a reason. Some people don't know that. So basically, we're going to get the bottom flush. And what we're going to use is nothing more than a coarse thread drywall screw. Works perfect in these steel studs. They also make a high-low screw, which they're kind of hard to find in our big box stores. So the reason we're going to do this first is we're going to be able to square it up real easy. And we're going to come up here. You can see how out of square it really is there. So it moves very easily. And this will make it square. Square enough for what we're doing. So we're going to go ahead and screw this all down. And next time you'll see me, we'll be ready to put the boom mat on it, and we're going to cut some end pieces. We'll dress it up a little bit, but the basic construction's almost done, so we're making out pretty good here. Okay, we got everything really ready to go here, and this is the boom mat. And like I said, it comes with the self-stick back. What I found the best way to do is peel it back, 6 inches or so, and very carefully get your top edge just tacked in place. And then you want to do is make sure that you're coming down this side parallel. And once you're pretty confident of that, you're flush up top, and go ahead and stick the first few inches of it. And this stuff, it grabs. It's really an easy product to work with. So then what we're going to do is we're going to keep peeling this paper a little bit at a time, and also doing a little bit of stretch to it. So once you get some stretch to it, come back up and just keep working your way down slowly. So I'm going to say this stuff was somewhere in $80 some a range a sheet. But we're going to find out if it works good. Yeah, they come in a roll, so it takes a little while for this mat to cooperate. Best bet is to unroll it for a while, leave it sit. I also found it'll jump sparks off your fingers too. Yeah, that's what I said. If you mess up, you're not going to be able to peel this back up. I'm impressed of how good it sticks, but we got some nice clean foil here, and we're going to find out the acoustical value of this when it meets the bus motor for the first time. But all right, we'll put the other side on, and these panels, all they're going to need is a couple of returns to go back into the radiator. I'll put a couple pieces of OSB on the edge just to dress it up, because you got this steel stud, you don't want no one getting cut. But we're really one step away from taking it up and testing it out. So next time you'll see me, we will be at the sawmill doing some tests. So I don't know what to say. We're just going to try it out. Well, we're up at the mill, and I'm going to go ahead and set the two side panels. The simplest way it's going to work is I just put a stud out here, drilled a hole in front of it. It's going to sit on these two rails. I'll put a couple keepers left and right of that to keep it from moving, and then I can get the direct measurement from the for the top of it. I believe this is going to really help keep this thing out of the frost, keep it out of the extreme heat, and then it'll pull the air from the radiator straight through. So let's see how this thing fits. I am by myself all alone today, but I made this thing extremely light. So if you had to get in to do something on this engine, it would be a matter of minutes to get you in there to work. And let's see if this hole lines up, which it looks like it's going to. So that there, with just a fender washer, I might even get a couple wing nuts. And there you go. And again, I'll just do something on this back side to something to come up on each side just to hold this thing. But once the lid goes on it, I don't believe it's going to be an issue. And I also see the exhaust is almost going to be down inside of there. And I left it up off the ground enough for good airflow, and I don't think we're going to have a problem with this. But for the heck of it, let's just fire this thing up with the one panel on it, because I know this side was pretty loud. So I'm going to go fire that real quick. Contact. Yeah, we're going to check it with the decibel meter, but man, this is definitely a lot quieter, especially when I get the lid on it. This will really be, I think it's going to work out for Eddie's videos. And once I get the other side on, that'll help the cab out too. So I'll get that done, and then I'm going to make the lid for it, and then we're going to do some decibel checks. And let's just see if it paid off or if it was just a waste of time. So, all right.